Hello and welcome to Big Orbit's Cardfight Vanguard weekly update. My name is James and today I'll be going through the cards shown throughout the past 7 days. Starting off, we have a nice little common for Kagero with Calamity Towered Wyvern. The skill is Act Rearguard Circle, cost Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit, and one of your Vanguards gets plus 15,000 power until the end of the turn. Giving this to the Dragonic Overlords will be fantastic for both of the Vanguard attacks, having the power buff. This will also work well with Dragonic Waterfall to make it even harder for your opponent to guard his attack. Some extra boost to 7 cards have been shown this week, and we have a Grade 1 Nova Grappler with Drill the Jewel. The skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. When it boosts, cost discard a card from your hand until the end of the turn when your opponent would call a card from the hand to Guardian Circle. For the battle of the unit that was boosted by this unit's attack, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. This is really good for Nova Grappler as you should be able to restand the boosted unit once or twice, making it incredibly threatening for your opponent. Kagero get another Winged Dragon with the Grade 1 Wyvern Strike Mambus. It has Auto Rearguard Circle. When it boosts, if your opponent has no rearguards until the end of the battle, when your opponent would call a card from hand to Guardian Circle, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. Yet more of this type of skill, arguably not as threatening as the Nova Grappler one, but with no rearguards the last thing you want to do is spill out your hand to defend. Going back to EBO 6, we have the last VR of the set with Link Joker's Wandering Starhawk Deity Brandt Ringer. He's a Grade 4, the skill is pretty much an evolution of the Grade 3 Brandt skill. It is Act Vanguard Circle, cost Counterblast 1 until the end of your opponent's turn, change the blow effects of your opponent's trigger effects other than the power increase to critical, your opponent gets -1 critical until the end of battle. Heal, deal 1 damage to your Vanguard. Draw, discard a card from your hand, and change the power increase of front triggers to the back row. This means fronts are still good, just a lot more manageable, and draws become pretty painful for your opponent. Also, sitting on a 14k base is just another point to his great defense. It's at the cheap cost to Counterblast 1, but I guess with it being a Grade 4, it does only do something late game. So if you're against Murakumo, you're not going to have a great time. Brandt also gets support in the form of the Grade 3 Decadal Automata. It does have a gift, and the first skill is Continuous Rearguard Circle. This unit gets plus 10,000 power and your opponent gets Drive +1. This can backfire and give your opponent just more normal units, but it still does increase the chances of your opponent getting a trigger that will hurt them. It also has the skill of Continuous Rearguard Circle. The trigger unit revealed by the 3rd drive check of each turn or more is put into the drop zone, instead of being put into the hand. Being limited to the 3rd or more does hurt a little bit, but if you're against stuff like Pentagon or Magus or something like that, they've just got more chances to hurt themselves. Whiteout Effect is a Grade 2 RRR for Link Joker and has Auto Rearguard Circle at the end of the battle that it attacked the Vanguard. If a trigger unit was not called during that battle, cost Counterblast 1 and draw a card. Choose one of your opponent's Grade 2 or greater rearguards and bind it face down. This is great value for Counterblast 1, and most of the other cards will be Soul Blasting as costs, so you should be able to use this a few times unless your opponent tries to overguard by using triggers. Link Joker also get a couple of EBO 7 cards, with the first one being the Grade 1 Cyber Dragon, Spinodal Dragon. Its first skill is Act Rearguard Circle, cost Soul Blast 1 and retire this unit. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and bind it face down. Off to a good start, as it lets you choose any of your opponent's rearguards with no restriction. And it also has auto, when it is retired from Rearguard Circle during your turn, one of your Vanguards gets plus 5,000 power until the end of the turn. So it makes even more use for itself, and even though this card does self-retire itself, this could be a sign that Cyber Dragons will retire their own units for other skills in the future. Maybe we will see something like that for Chaos Breaker Dragon to make use of that scythe of his. Locke is back in EBO 7 with the Grade 1 unit Destiny Dealer. The skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When placed, put the top card of your deck onto a Rearguard Circle as a locked card. And the second skill is Act Rearguard Circle. Once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1. Look at the top card of your deck and put it onto Rearguard Circle as locked. It's very likely that Harmonix Messiah will unlock units on your turn anyway, so this will just be good plussing. And very Shadow Paladin-like with getting random cards. Still, 2 new units for a very cheap cost in one turn makes this card definitely worth being a double out. Link Joker will also be getting the starting Vanguard Neon Messiah. We have seen cards getting skills based on the starting Vanguard being in the Soul, so maybe Harmonix Messiah will look specifically for Neon Messiah in the Soul. It could even be a big restriction, like you can't ride Harmonix Messiah unless you have Neon in the Soul. And they could do similar things with Cyber Dragons and Deletas to separate the builds a bit more. We have a few premium collections tries to go through. The first one is Angel Feathers unit, Evangel Seraph Raphael Mitra. She has the very short skill in comparison to a lot of the other units in this set, and has Act Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, costs Counterblast 3, turn a card in your G-zone face up, discard 2 cards from your hand, and heal 2 cards from your damage zone. If you have 5 open Counterblasts, this with Metatron can heal you 3 cards, which is pretty painful to go against, but that probably won't be too likely. Still, this is a format that's heavy with aggro, so it should help you stay around for a little bit longer. especially when you will also have Vanessa Broken Heart active at that point in the game. Drag Principal Morfessa is a stride for Shadow Paladin and has Act Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost Counterblast 1, and turn a card from your G-Zone face up and retire to rear guards. Draw 2 cards. Until the end of the turn, all of the trigger units in your drop zone are regarded as being grade 1s. This means pretty much all your ritual effects will be active, and it especially helps for the second ability of Continuous Vanguard Circle Ritual 10. All your front row get plus 15,000 power and plus 1 critical, and when your opponent would call Guardians from his or her hand, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. Ritual 10 is pretty easy to achieve thanks to the first skill, and depending on how you've been playing, you could pull this off first stride. Lastly, we have Strongest Command Chief, like Final DX. For Dimension Police. Its skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When it attacks, turn a card from your G-Zone face up and put all your rest rear guards into the soul. Reveal 7 cards from the top of your deck. Call cards to rear guard circle from among them in descending power order, up to the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone. Shuffle your deck, and if you put 4 or more cards into your soul, all of your units get plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical till the end of the turn. Multi-attacks in Dimension Police is actually incredible, and with the extra power buff, mixed with the likely burst effects that appear, will lead to a deadly turn. You'll likely only want to use a second stride or above unless you've been getting good luck with your heal triggers in hand, allowing you to G-guard a couple of times early on. And that's everything for this week. Be sure to check out next week when I'll be going through the card show throughout the next 7 days, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.